Well, namaste friends, welcome back to Anadi Anantam. So, continuing from where we left yesterday on the topic of management and Sanatana Dharma. Yesterday we just took a peep into the current scenarios that the human race is commonly facing. Today we will look into the subject as such, and I will start with what is management, so to speak. So, management is a skill where a team of people come together, and it's a skill and art, I would say, of cooperation, of communication, and of interaction in order to achieve a desired common goal. So there is a common goal for which everyone is working towards, and it requires some amount of streamlining and coordination, so that every effort through every individual is being fruitful, and he or she is able to function to their highest potential. So, what are the key points or features in management? Firstly, managers, so to speak, are born leaders, and management is also a skill which can be developed through practice. So, there are a lot of institutes and a lot of educational institutes which prepare or train people or students on how to coordinate and how to bring about effective results, right, in achieving the desired goal. And there are various areas of management. So there is resource management, there is people management, there is financial management, there are operations management, and there are various sub areas or subtopics under the umbrella of management. And even in our day-to-day lives, not only in the corporates but even in our day-to-day lives, maintaining a disciplined routine, everyday routine, also falls under management. A very essential part of management is also time management, right? So how we allocate our time for activities, how do we prioritize our everyday activities, also makes a lot of impact on how we lead, what quality of life we are able to lead. So if we are planning and organizing certain things, then we are able to achieve a lot in a short span of time, and that also helps us in developing our own expertise and abilities, and we are able to think ahead of time. So we are able to be more productive and efficient. But with all this professional skills, what is also required are human skills, without which there's no point, or it's an imbalanced growth. For example, if the left side of a person keeps growing and the right side doesn't grow at all, it becomes an asymmetry there, correct? So we don't want such asymmetries to happen. We want a holistic and full growth, all over growth, and that is why it is also essential to have human skills and develop human skills. So even home managers they are rightly called so, because there is a lot of effort which goes into managing the kitchen and regular household activities, because a person has to wear different hats at the same time, correct? So developing human skills means extrapolates into developing a good personality characteristic, right? Because any human being is made up of what? Thoughts primarily. So the quality of thoughts determines the quality of the individual, because it takes a lot to perceive, how a person perceives a particular situation is how he is able to respond to that situation. And our response to any situation is the one which determines the outcome of the situation, right? You will agree to it, right? So that is what is important. So building up a good thought structural framework. For example, we talk about physical infrastructure, right? So we have certain amenities and the building is proper. It has to be the space has to be organized in a particular manner so that it is conducive for a healthy working environment for which the specific building has been created for. Similarly, I would introduce this term such as mental infrastructure. So building mental infrastructure is far more important than building a physical infrastructure, because this is going to make or break the life quality of the individual. So the physical infrastructure means, it also in Sanskritam it is also called as samskaras. So the Vedic India, and even today there is the Indian family is practicing those habits which are productive and which create a particular mindset in an individual, that the person finds strength of mind and is able to put up with a lot of ups and downs in life, right? So the very basic family structure of our country is so designed that there is peace and happiness for all, right? So coming back to management, corporate management and personal management, what is the thing which differentiates or which is great about the Indian management system? What is that? The Western management system is based on a premise that resources, whatever resources are available naturally, are quite limited, and every individual of that particular society has to have a share of it, right? So in order to have a share of it, a person has to give up on something which is already having, and therefore there is a restriction or a limitation on how much resource an individual who is a part of that particular society is able to enjoy. So everyone definitely wants to have a bigger chunk for himself or herself, and therefore there is a competitive environment, one versus the other, for and against. This is the basic premise on which the Western management culture is functional on. Now, what about the Indian management culture? The Indian management culture is 180 degrees drastically opposite to this. What it states is, the premise on which it works is, there has to be whatever resources are naturally available are available abundantly, and everyone, it should be distributed equally among every individual member of the society, right? So sarve bhavantu sukhinah is the paradigm on which this functions. What it really means is, it has certain techniques and methods and practices which will ensure, which is not only promising but it is ensuring abundance, growth, prosperity, and in short, comfort and happiness. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. So comfort and happiness for each and every individual of that particular society. So, and examples, very stark examples which we often speak about and quote are Ramarajya, right? Like how Chanakya Niti, how Chanakya was a consultant to Vikramaditya, and how in Mahabharata, during the Mahabharata times, how Lord Krishna guided Yudhishthira and Arjuna in establishing a good kingdom. Okay? For that matter, even Ravana's kingdom was well versed and well flourished, but the only difference is, because of his selfish intentions, because of his poor thought about retaining the entire thing to his own self, and greed of wanting to enjoy that which belongs to someone else is what brought about his befall. So what we are trying to highlight here is the mental infrastructure. The thoughts make a lot of difference. The way Rama thought was quite unselfish. He put himself down and he put the well-being of others more, and that is why he was able to establish a kingdom where everyone was able to live peacefully, comfortably, and there was abundance in his ruling. So again, I will repeat it n number of times, that mental infrastructure, the way a person has vicharas, the quality of vichara is what defines the life experience of an individual, right? So even today we can actually practically observe this in our own very lives. In any given situation, just observe. The outcome of the situation depends on how you react to it or respond to it, correct? So the only thing, we cannot change the environment, we are not having no control over what is happening around, we are having no control over the changes of the society, we are having no control over anything else apart from our own actions and reactions, correct? So that is the point where we have control, and that is the point which makes all the difference, correct? So there are a lot of companies which start up, which do well for certain time period, and then they go bankrupt or they are unable to sustain themselves. There are certain other companies which are still standing strong over a lot longer duration, say 100 years or more. So what is the difference between all of that? Let us take another example. Gita Press, which is a publishing company of Gorakhpur, which is very famous and publishing religious books for a long time. They are very popular and well-known brand in India. Now, are they making profits? How are they functioning? It is all self-funded. It was started 100 years ago by a single person who, out of his devotion and as a mark of respect towards the Bhagavad Gita, put up a printing press of his own, a small machine, and started printing copies and freely distributing it. Now the word free again brings a lot of attention, brings my attention to this point, where there is some kind of a fun made out of the Indian mentality to have everything for free, and the Western mentality of paying for everything, right? So which one is good? Which one is appreciable? Is it appreciable that we pay for everything, and is it appreciable that we have everything for free? What is the difference? So there is a subtle difference in the way we perceive it and in the way we understand the underlying principle. So again, in the Indian mentality of it's not hoarding anything for free, it has been, I would say, wrongly understood, or it has been misinterpreted to mean that you don't want to work for something, or you don't want to pay for something, and you want to all be able to enjoy without having to offer anything. No, it's not that. Dharma is again sukha, sarve bhavantu sukhinah, peace and happiness for all. So that never preaches staying still and not offering your work and not doing anything and just claiming your benefits. No, it's not that. Dharma is free giving. Definitely it is free giving, the way nature is working and giving us. So for example, all the trees never eat their own fruits, correct? It is always there, freely available to whomsoever who wants to have a taste of it. All the rivers, whether it is America, whether any other country, whether it is India, all the rivers offer their water for free. Correct? That is dharma. Now there is air, and air has nitrogen and oxygen. So that oxygen supply, whichever part of the globe it might be, it is free. That is free giving, and that is higher intelligence. It is not something as as bad as begging. It's not that. It's not beggar. It's not the beggar mentality. It is free giving. It's a quite honorable and respectable thing to do, and that is an expression of love, your higher love and your compassion, your understanding about your higher responsibilities and your contribution. Not only that, your self-expression also. So it is a matter of self-expression more than anything else. So it is acknowledging that there is a higher superior power and energy which is working through all of us, which is manifesting its own self in the form of each and every individual entity, and therefore there is nothing that an individual entity can claim that he or she is doing it, and therefore it is also improper to claim any rewards or any fruits for whatever is happening through the entity. So the entity is just a medium or a channel. For example, a water flowing through a pipe, right? So what is the pipe doing? Nothing. The water has its own pressure and it is flowing out of its own course, its own nature. So the pipe is just channelizing it, correct? So does the pipe have the right to say, oh, I am the source of water here? No, it is not the source. The source is something else. There is a lake or there is a reservoir of water which is supplying it. So similarly, there is a reservoir and there is a reserve and there is a source from which everything is flowing out. And each individual entity, you and me, are just channelizing it, and we are just one minute, the minutest possible. For example, dust. We are just like dust particles in the entire cosmos, correct? So management is also knowing this truth, the reality behind how the cosmos is functioning. Let me put you a question. What is the smallest known organization to you, and what is the largest organization known to you? Tell me. So this is a question I pose to you in this particular video, and help me with your answers, because I also have my own answer for this. Let's do just a small jiggle and try to understand the intelligence behind this cosmos and management further and better. So thank you, namaste, see you soon.